It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I'm just starting my day out here in upstate New York before I go ahead and head over to the Turning Stone Casino for the Odebek Komatar Raymond 4 5. But before I do that, let's knock out this little slew of videos because there's a lot to talk about in our sport of boxing. Now, I just wanted to chime in on the whole Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez situation. I've been following it. I've been following like all the things that have came out since Canelo pretty much decided he was going to leave PBC, and it's just been ridiculous, man. I feel like honestly, from both sides, I really just think that this fight was never destined to happen. I mean, you listen to the things that Canelo is trying to do, and you listen to some of the things that Benavidez has been saying in interviews the last couple of days. And I feel like, this whole Canelo Benavidez situation is a product of the boxing business just not being realistic and fighters getting overpaid and promoters doing bad business. It's a whole comedy of errors. Let's start with the Canelo side of things, right? Because I saw that the Boxing Voice, shout out to Ness, did an interview with Vito Manecki Sr., and he had a whole lot of comments to say about Canelo Alvarez, about how basically, and some of them could be deemed as racist. I'm not going to get into if it was racist or wasn't racist, but, he said things, he said Heyman wouldn't pay Canelo because he's Mexican and we're American, so that could be interpreted however you guys you want to take it. But, look, Canelo has a $35 million guarantee. His lawyer asked for $35 million in escrow to be put in there. There was no $35 million, according to Rick Glazer, to put in the escrow, right? That's what Rick Glazer said, and Rick Glazer has been the most accurate as far as reporting this whole story, right? But my thing is this, right? PBC signed the deal for Canelo. They are the ones that brought him to their platform, right? So if you were never going to intend to pay Canelo Alvarez the $35 million or meet whatever his guaranteed requirements were for as far as pay is concerned, then why even sign him in the first place? Because now it looks like PBC never had any real intention of making the Benavidez fight, and it looks like they wasted Canelo's time. Now on the flip side, Canelo Alvarez is a guy that he was getting paid absurd amounts of money from DAZN. So much so to the point where DAZN said, look, we can't pay you this money no more. We're not going to deal with you anymore. And then that's when the whole DAZN Canelo lawsuit started. So I just think it's been irresponsible from all parties involved. It was irresponsible of PBC to make promises they couldn't keep. And it's been very irresponsible boxing all these years to keep overpaying Canelo for fights that are far above market value, That being said, as far as Benavidez is concerned, I've been listening to a lot of the comments and quotes from David Benavidez. Even some old Samson Lukowicz interview clips have been popping up on social media. And Benavidez has stated that he's not willing to go to DAZN to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, if you're someone that's interested in that fight, that's pretty disparaging, because the reality is Canelo Alvarez is the guy that dictates the terms in this scenario. And if the fight was going to happen, Benavidez is going to have to beat to the tune of Canelo's drum. So if Benavidez really, really wants to fight, like he's been saying all this time, the only way it would ever happen is now if he went to DAZN, because PBC isn't willing to pay the guaranteed $35 million for Canelo Alvarez. And then according to Rick Glazer, they don't even have the $35 million guarantee to pay Canelo Alvarez. So that being said, I don't even think Benavidez, I mean, he may have wanted the fight when it was convenient, but I don't think deep down even he really, really and truthfully wanted the fight. So I just think, look, it wasn't meant to happen. These things happen in boxing where, sometimes the business and the sport just can't meet in alignment, can't meet in congruency to make the fights happen for the fans. And that's just what it is. So I feel like boxing now with PBC not really having the kind of money they had, and not even reportedly even having a real budget at Amazon Prime, boxing is going to go through a bit of a market correction. Boxing is going to go through a bit of a budget change, because fighters that were getting used to being overpaid by the likes of PBC and even being overpaid by DAZN have to actually fight in big fights for what their market value actually is. They got to fight in the fights for what the money actually commands, and not fight for more. And there's going to be a thing in boxing where fighters are going to have to start taking pay cuts. Even Canelo Alvarez, for all the, money he does bring to the table, he's gonna have to take a pay cut. And let's be real, I've been seeing Canelo Alvarez's Instagram comment section, and he's been getting fried by everybody. So even though he has his core fan base, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been turned off by the fact that Canelo Alvarez hasn't been adamant about fighting David Benavidez. That Eddie Reynoso has made every excuse in the book to not fight David Benavidez. So he's gonna. I think even his market value isn't as high. It's not as high as he thinks it is. You know what I'm saying? So. Look, I don't got a dog in the race. I'm not really the biggest Canelo or Benavidez fan, to be honest with you. And I wasn't really ever that invested in the fight, but I had to come out here and talk about it because, Canelo Alvarez has been getting overpaid. It has been conning the boxing, not just the boxing public, but boxing, the industry for so long that now it's okay. Now you got to really be in some tough fights for fights that are actually at what they're worth, not above what they're worth, but at what they're worth. And for Benavidez, the charade of using Canelo's name to prop yourself up as the Mexican monster while fighting 154 and 160 pounders coming up in weight, that charade is over too. He's got to go and fight the top guys at light heavyweight. So, it is what it is. It wasn't meant to happen, and these guys got to be in some real fights. Now, we'll see what happens with Canelo. He's talking about fighting Edgar Berlanga, which I don't think that's a fight I want. I don't think it'd be a bad fight, but it's not the fight I want to see the most. And then as far as him fighting Jaime Munguia, that's always a fight that I thought he was gonna take. That's always a fight from 2018 that I thought could happen, and it looks like in 2024, if he gets his way, it could still happen. And also you still got the Terrence Crawford fight, because you got to remember with Terrence Crawford is a promotional free agent, so wherever Canelo goes, Crawford has it well within his rights to go wherever Canelo's gonna go. So that don't forget about that fight. That fight could still be on the table as well. But I just had to come out here and just say, look, the whole boxing industry in their irresponsibility over these years is why Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez isn't happening. Promoters overpaying fighters and Canelo Alvarez being one of the most entitled fighters in boxing. That's why we're at where we're at. David Benavidez, not willing to go across the street and make the fight happen if that's what it takes. That's why we're at where we're at. Benavidez isn't willing to do what Terrence Crawford did, because look, remember when push came to shove, Terrence Crawford was at top rank for a long time. When he wanted to fight Earl Spence and he understood the task that he had to cross the street, he crossed the street. I think they could have made the fight when he was on top rank, but PBC didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do business with top rank. So Terrence understood the task. He got rid of Bob, and the fight happened with Spence, and he became undisputed champion. So this is a similar situation where for Benavidez, unfortunately, you're not going to get a chance to continue to make good money fighting the Kyron Davises of the world on PBC. You're not going to get Canelo Alvarez on PBC. So you would have to, if you'd really wanted that fight, you had to have that tough conversation with your promoter / manager, whatever he is, Samson Lukowitz, about fighting Canelo Alvarez on DAZN in a one-off type of fight deal. But you got to understand, PBC, Samson, they invested a lot of money into Benavidez. They even put him on pay-per-view. So they're not going to build him up, prop him up, and make him this big rising star in the sport just to let him go to DAZN and Eddie Hearn. So it's all business as usual. But I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on just some of the more developing things that have happened, things I've been seeing on social media about Benavidez and Canelo. But let me know what you guys think. Whose fault do you guys think it is for the fight not happening? I think everybody has their part to play. Just like they always say, there's three sides to the truth. There's their story, there's your story, and then there's the actual truth. And the truth normally lies somewhere in the middle. So that's kind of where I'm going to be at with this. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think, Canelo Alvarez has been getting used to getting overpaid for fights that are far above market value because of the fact that he does bring good business to whoever he's signed to. Now he's not going to get that because PBC either doesn't want to pay him or doesn't have the money to pay him that guarantee. And Benavidez and Samson and all parties involved, they're just not willing to take every last step, exhaust every last option to actually go ahead and make the Canelo Alvarez fight as far as crossing the street and going over to DAZN. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure to subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.